Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs down 5-minute dungeon Curses Foiled Again, which is the first expansion for the excellent 5-minute dungeon, which I did a run through for with Jen a couple of years ago. And if you want to check that out, you can hit that eye up in the top right corner screen. And if you already know the base game and you want to know what the expansion offers, well, what do you get? For starters, all the bosses get significantly tougher. Yes, even the baby barbarian here. Because you might just be opening doors like always. Oh, there's some Ugg boots and living vines and a surprise dodgeball tournament. Oh no. And then a goblin. But then, what's this? Has the baby barbarian come to fight us during the actual dungeon crawl itself? Yes, each boss gets 5 specific cards that are randomly scattered throughout the deck. You remove 5 regular doors and add these 5 boss cards instead. And these are nasty. What's the first one we run across here? It's a cursed blanket. You cannot use your left hand. This is a new concept, curses. These are cards you can't get rid of. They don't just come over here waiting for you to clear them out. They get put off to the side and will continue to affect everybody for the rest of the game. And then we keep digging. And now we can only play one-handed. You can imagine how tough that is in a game where you're trying to do hand management as fast as possible. The barbarian. Oh no, and now another one. It's another curse, the rattle of time. We can no longer pause, even if we have a special effect that lets us do it. So curses are building up. And they're not only curses, but the bosses, like the cursed blocks. That's a really tough one. Maximum hand size of 3. But the bosses also have special events, like poisoned milk. Or, what's the other one? Oh, another cursed blocks. And, this is just for the baby. All of the bosses get new, cool, scary cards that get thrown into their dungeon deck. Like, waffles! You can only say waffles. In a game that requires this much communication. Waffles, 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 waffles! Or a waxed floor from the Grime Reaper. So, lots of really cool stuff. The bosses have become much more challenging. So how do we deal with that? I'm glad you asked. The heroes get some respite in the form of new action cards. Each of the classes gets 2 cards that get added to their deck. Portal and Time Warp for the Wizard Sorceress. And then the Huntress Ranger gets extra quiver, critical hits. The rogue types get some throwing knives. Those are very handy. The warrior types get battle rage. Hey, remove a curse, put it at the bottom of the deck. That's going to be handy. Or defeat a mini boss, also very handy. And then the paladin types can rally and cure. So everybody gets a couple of new cards in their deck. And you saw there was one chance to get rid of curses, but that's not all. Because you know how when you set up the game, every player takes 1 or 2 sets of cards if you're playing a 2-player game, but there are always some cards that are left aside. For the classes that are not going to come into the dungeon, they give us their artifacts. Basically, imagine we were playing a 3-player game where we were playing with the paladin, the barbarian, and the huntress. Well, they don't have their artifacts, but the 3 who didn't come, the ninja, the wizard, and the shaman, they give us their artifacts, and these become items that just sit off to the side that we can activate once whenever we want, like the sundial. Pause time, and all players get 3 cards as a one-time thing because we don't have the ninja or the thief joining us this time. Or for the warrior, get out a battle axe as a one-time thing if the warrior's not along. Or, let's see, there were a couple of others. Mjolnir and the Rainbow Herb and the Curse Zapper, a very important one. If the shaman's not with us, hey, this is a one-time thing, remove all curses. So that's interesting, push your luck element. How long do you live with the curses and you let more and more of them build up, slowing you down until you use the Curse Zapper to get rid of all the ones, but then more might show up. But you might be saying, hey, wait. Shaman? Druid? Who's that? Well, that's the other new element. There is a new 6th type of character, which means the game can now be played up to 6 players. We've got the Druid and the Shaman. The Shaman's special power, discard cards so another player can pull cards out of their discard pile. That's very nice. But the Druid, even better, discard 3 cards to move a curse that's active to the bottom of the deck. So we won't have to worry about it until we go up against the boss at the end. That's a pretty big deal. Plus, the Druid, of course, has a whole bunch of cards in their own deck. Now, interesting thing is they don't sacrifice any of the types. They've got an equal number of all types of cards. They're much more well-rounded than all the other types of heroes. Plus, of course, they've got some special cards, including the Precious Cleanse. Here's another way to get rid of curses. That's why, if they're not along to use the Cleanse, well, they donated their Curse Zapper instead to deal with all these new curses that the bosses throw at us. Or we can tame a creature, or True Sight, or Living Vines, or Ancient Healing. There's 2 of these. Yep. But they've got one other element. Infinite resource items. These ones, you can see they've got this little thing around here. If you put one of these into play, they count as infinite amount of ranged attacks or melee attacks or movement or whatever. So you really want to hold on to these until you come up to a really big tough boss that needs a lot of them. Like if you get to the Baby Barbarian and you need 3 movement, just this one card will handle 3 movement. But if you get up to the Grime Reaper and you need 7 scrolls, just this one infinite scroll will take care of all of them. So do you, as the shaman, take the risk of saving these cards until the very, very end when you reach the boss, or do you use them to get past something tough along the way? That's it, folks. Just a bunch of new content, a bunch of really cool new stuff in 5-minute dungeons, curses foiled again. And I gotta say, this is awesome. So many wonderful new ideas, making the bosses so much tougher, but then giving us so many cool tools to take them on as really reinvigorated the game and given it so much more legs, so much more replayability. I think about my only complaint is I'm really surprised they didn't include any rules for solo play because, oh man, a lot of people are waiting. Please, Connor Reed, the developer designer, give us some solo rules. But that aside, this is phenomenal. It goes up to 6 now, and so much more replayability, so much more surprises, so many more ways to solve problems in 5-minute dungeon curses foiled again. And that's the rundown, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.